sick. We had this huge aspect of akhlaq, in this idea that if you know that a member of your community, even a member of your workforce, somebody in the office is not well, make it a point, as a Muslim at least, to pick up the phone, maybe call them and say, are you okay? You haven't been in the office for a couple of days? Is everything all right? What ends up happening is you're taking the sunnah of the Prophet and you're bringing it to your workforce. And that's what we want to do. We want to work on the Islamic path. We want to go to school on the Islamic path. And that's how we have an Islamic life. Not this idea that Islam, like I said, is an evening religion or weekend religion. No, if you are working 9 to 5, that 9 to 5 is also Islamic. And how do you do that? You ignite, or you at least trigger this concept that if you know that a co-worker of yours is not feeling well, buy a card, have the office sign it, and go and deliver it to him or her. And say, look, brother, you know, we miss you at the office, and here's a token of our remembrance to you. And believe me, for a moment there, he'll think, you know, thank you very much, that was a very nice gesture. Our Prophet of Allah is teaching us that. Let's apply it today in our life. So 2 stories and 2 very valuable lessons. Before I go on to story number 3, let me just do a quick recap because people are coming in and out. I want to make sure that people understand where I'm going with this. We established in the beginning of this speech that one of the tools that we have in trying to create an Islamic life in America is to emulate our Ahlul Bayt, because they lived in a society with non-Muslims like you and I do. How they did it is what you and I should be concerned about. I brought up letter number 45 in Nahj al-Balagha with Uthman ibn Hunayf, and in there we extracted 3 or 4 valuable lessons that inshallah you can pick up off the website. And we shared 2 stories of Mawla Ali and our Holy Prophet. The last story is of Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam. Imam Hassan in Medina, as you know, he existed at a time when Muawiyah's propaganda against the Ahlul Bayt was very high. Imam Hassan one day was approached by a man who began to insult him and his family. He said, oh, I've heard about you, I've heard about your father, I've heard about your mother, I've heard about your sister and your brother. You guys are this, you guys are that, you guys are this, you guys are that. Insulting, ridiculing the Imam right in front of his face. Obviously this man was a victim of Muawiyah's propaganda, no doubt about it. Imam Hassan's reaction is what you and I should be able to extract as a lesson. Imam Hassan was quiet. He waited until, you know, the dog stopped barking, as they say. And then he asked one question. He said, you don't seem familiar to me. Are you from out of town? Very famous story. He says, yes, I am from out of town. He says, do you have a place to stay? Have you had a meal yet? You're almost, you're a musafir, you aren't safar, you're traveling. He was taken back at this. He says, no, actually, I don't have accommodation, I don't have a meal. Just come to my house. I'll give you a place to stay, I'll give you a meal. This man, in all of his shame and embarrassment, went to the house of the Imam, stayed with the Imam, ate his food, and then begged for his forgiveness again, and converted, let's say, to be the follower of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Story is fantastic. What can we derive from that? A few things. Number 1, and most importantly, and I'll explain this to you as best I can. We have our own set of morals and values. Every single person here has their own sets of morals and values. Some people give time a lot of importance, others don't. Some people spend a lot of time getting ready and make sure they look nice and smell nice, their beard is combed, everything is nice, mashallah. Others don't give it that much importance. Other people give importance to the idea of inviting others who have invited them. So morals and ethics change throughout every individual. Our books of akhlaq teach us that those morals and ethics are like a reflection of a mirror that reflects from you onto other people. Okay? Keep that in mind. The problem that arises in our community is that we don't reflect the reflection of our own morality to the person in front of us. All we become is a simple reflection of how they are. So if someone approaches me and is in a fiery state of rage and angry with me, I become angry with them. If they're ignorant with me, I become jahil with them. If they're sweet with me, I become sweet with them. If they're funny with me, I become funny with them. What ends up happening is my own personal traits of akhlaq and morality and values go out the window, and I wait how this person in front of me is going to be, and I react accordingly. Our Ahlul Bayt teach us absolutely not. You have your own set of morals, your own set of values. Instead of being a fire to a fire, if the person in front of you is full of rage and on fire, you have to be that cool, relaxing water to put out that fire. If the person in front of you is spewing out jahalat, you have to be the alim and teach him what he needs to know. If a person in front of you is a person who is instinctful, who is passionate, who's always angry and shahwa, you have to be that faculty of aql to teach him how to live his life. You shouldn't be a reflection of the person in front of you. You should shine your own reflection on the person in front of you. That's called a muballigh, doing tabligh of Islam, doing tabligh of the Ahlul Bayt. In this story, Imam Hassan didn't act or didn't respond the way this person in front of him had responded. Can you imagine if somebody came to you and I and talked about our mothers, our fathers, our brothers? What would be our reaction? As hot as he is, we'd be even hotter. We'd say, oh, you think my family's bad? This is how your family is. And Imam Hassan knew for a moment, another beautiful lesson, Imam Hassan knew for a moment that if he sat there trying to convince this ignorant man that, look, I am this person, my family is this, my father is this, my brother is this, my mother is this, they would not understand. How did he do it? Through his actions, through his a'mal. He didn't say a word. He asked one question, took him to his house, fed him, gave him a bed, gave him a roof over his head, and then he said, now do you know who we are? Now do you understand what my family is? So sometimes words are not enough. They say actions speak louder than words. And we have hadiths that say that sometimes if you can't do tabligh in your words, do tabligh in your actions. And one of the things that they teach us, and again, I'm being very personal here, by the way, because I've been here long enough to be personal. When they teach us in the house that when you go out for tabligh, above and beyond else of what you're going to say up here, be careful what you're going to do down there. Because one small slip on an inappropriate joke, an inappropriate glance, maybe something that I did to upset somebody, I could give amazing lectures up here, but what you'll remember is that one slip up I did when I was down here. My actions will always speak louder than my words. And when you're out there and when you're promoting the deen of Islam, understand that your actions are far greater than your words are. Salawat bihi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Conclusion, 2 minutes and we wrap up, inshallah. We were attempting, like I said, since day one. This is now, mashallah, day 5. Ramadan is slowly coming to its first week. And we set up this massive topic of trying to live an Islamic life in America. And I mentioned to you from the first day, I'm going to take this massive topic and introduce dimension by dimension by dimension. The dimension of today is following and emulating the life of our Ahlul Bayt. Because like I said, instead of reinventing the wheel, we have 14 lives that are perfect